All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for being here. Lovely to have you on this Wednesday morning for some of you, afternoon, evening for others. It's fantastic to be here. My name is David Hotler. I'm the community manager for Book Creator. I've had this role now for a little over a year, and I'm really loving what I'm doing here. But before I was with Book Creator, I was actually a teacher in both the US and here in Europe for 15 years. So I was teaching video production and graphic design, and then moved into a tech coach role, then jumped across the pond and did all of that over here. So very exciting. I'm based in Madrid, Spain. It's lovely to have you. I noticed everyone in the chat is putting in where in Texas they're calling in from, which is fantastic, which is always fun to see. You start to see the more granular breakdowns. If you see someone in the chat that you know or from a district you don't know, feel free to chat them up, introduce yourself. We'll have a moment a little bit later where we're going to have an opportunity to chat with each other. Um, but this event is all about that. We are here to, one, answer your questions, to bring sort of some of the awesome things that folks in Texas are doing right up to the surface so that you get a chance to see it all. Um, and also then to share some awesome things that we just have going on generally with book creators. So I've got a whole book packed with fun stuff here that I'm going to share a link to in the chat so that you'll have a copy of this. It's the same book we used for the last cafe, and we'll just keep using the same book, and we're adding pages to it of awesome resources that folks in these are sharing. So oftentimes when folks come, they say, you know, one of the reasons that I'm here is because I am really interested in learning more about what Book Creator is doing. And so to that end, I'm going to launch this quick poll just while I keep talking. And this is just asking you like, hey, what do you know about Book Creator and what brought you here today? So if you have a moment and you see that pop up, stay with me. I'm going to keep throwing polls at you to make sure you're paying attention. So don't you go sleeping on me. Don't you go away from keyboard. But if you need to make a sandwich or something, just take your laptop with you. I do it all the time. Okay, so I'm running that poll and would love to hear your response. Um, but I want to give a little bit of shout out to some of the folks that are here. In the registration form, I asked you if you were part of our community, and some of you don't know what that is. Some of you said no, but I wanted to shout, there are people among you right now that are part of our community. And so I wanted to give them a shout out. I know Maggie, I saw Maggie come in, but if you're a part of our community and you want to chime in, raise your hand, put something in the chat, that would be awesome. Who else do we have here? We had several people register. Is Miguel here? Stephanie, Maggie, I know, so I saw her, Teresa. So we've got a lot of community members in Texas. Now, why would I mention that? Well, community members are folks that have sort of raised their hand and said, I want a little bit more information. I want to learn a little bit more about how I can be using Book Creator impactfully in my classroom. And so we've curated that for you. So when you become a collaborator, for example, we send you over a resource pack of kind of getting started and some amazing resources that you can use there. And then champions, for example, they're invited to come to our train the trainer events. Ambassadors are sent swag. We send them to different events and organizations. So just a fantastic community event. And it's awesome to see so many community folks who have registered or are showing up or have popped in. We also have some other book creator team members here. So before I turn it over to anyone in the community who wants to share, because we had a few people raise their hand for that as well, I want to introduce April and Jen. April, Jen, identify yourselves, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Cousins. I'm our partnerships manager. So I work closely with all of our school districts on the west side of the country, but mostly Texas. And I'm located here in Colorado where it was snowing yesterday. So that's pretty awesome for May. And I'll let April introduce herself as well.
Hi, so I'm April. I'm actually from Cardiff, Wales, if you can't tell from the accent. And it's actually sunny here, so I'm less pale than normal, but burnt. So try not to judge me too hard. And yeah, I've been a book creator about the same length of time as Hotler, and it's been amazing. Got to go to Austin, try all the breakfast tacos. I'm a big fan. I'm an honorary cowgirl, hopefully.
Yeah.
Please accept me. And yeah, that's pretty much me. I like cats, and if I don't have a coffee within half an hour, then I would probably die.
That's hilarious. Love having you both here. Thank you so much. April and Jennifer are going to be in the chat. If you have any specific questions that I'm like not seeing it because I have so much going on, please feel free, jump in the chat, ask questions there. But yeah, let's keep moving. So several folks on the registration form said they would be interested in sharing. In fact, Lucille, if you're here, she sent me some resources sort of wrapping up the end of the school year. But I haven't seen her pop in. So if there's someone on the call who has a resource or you know, something amazing that has happened with their students, they want to share something, this is an opportunity for you to do that. Of course, you can do that throughout the entire thing. If you see something pop up, you're like, oh, I have something like that, please do jump in. We would love to have you. So you can pop that into the chat, or you can open up your mic and just raise your hand, get to sharing, whatever it is. I see Maggie, you're asking about the ambassador program. Fantastic question. We have just opened up applications to become ambassadors for the month of May. So I'll talk a little bit about that a little later, and the community in general, but yes, you can become an ambassador. So if I don't see any hands come up, I want to kick us off by answering some of the questions that came up in the registration form. So I want to be sure that I cover these because these were folks had asked these questions. And then if these generate new questions, or if any of you have an additional answer to these, please chime in. Would love to hear that. So the first question that I want to address here is, how can I prevent kids from editing each other's books? And this is actually a pretty simple fix. Let's check it out. So I'm going to jump back into the edit mode for my book that I'm creating here, this Texas book. And I actually have a whole library just for you all. And in the settings of my library, I am able to really control what the students inside the library can do in that environment, right? And so I can turn off or limit different search types of images. I can choose whether or not they can edit their own books, or how many copies of books they are allowed to make. I can choose whether or not they can edit each other's books, whether or not folks in the library can turn on collaboration, or publish their books, add comments, use spell check, and translate text. So you can turn those things on and off for your libraries. But quick note, that is how you do that. So let me jump back into my book here and pop over to that page. How do we get teachers interested? Well, you invite them to an event like this. You send them to a webinar, or you send them some getting started resources. So let me just give you a sneak peek at this book here, so that you can see what I've put into it. Because I won't have a chance to show you all of this, but you will have access to this book. So in this book, I've included some brand new resources that are literally dropping right now, that are being posted. I've included a brand new feature update, which I'll show you, and a coupon code to upgrade to premium, so you can try it out if you haven't already. Some resources just for Texas created by Book Creator, which April will share about in just a minute, a little bit about our community. And then the rest of the book is a lot of community-made resources. And I really think these are the places that you should start. If you want to get other teachers interested, show them some of the things that other teachers in Texas are doing. I don't know if you guys know Stormy Daniels, but she's one of our ambassadors. She is incredible. I mean, she's an ambassador like every community you can possibly be part of. She made this little video at our last event, and she talks through some of these really fun books for students that you can use. And these are embedded right in this book, so you can go, you can find them. This is a survival challenge book, and you can remix these. So this is the power of Book Creator. You find a template that you like, you click on the remix button, and you're able to remix a copy of it into one of your libraries and then assign it to your students. So she talks a little bit about doing that. And then at the very back of the book, sorry, lost my page there, very back of the book, I've included some of our just general getting started resources. So you've got a teacher first lesson book that is all about using it for the first time with students. So helping them become familiar with Book Creator before you expect them to use it to show what they know. And then some other new features that have just come out, and some implementation resources. This is actually a massive toolkit. It's probably better for like tech coaches, admin, that kind of stuff. We have got a PD guide. So if you're interested in training folks about Book Creator, we have that as well. So some getting started resources there for you at the end. Okay, another question that we had come through. How do you effectively use this within content areas like social studies and science to meet the rigors of TEKS? Now, not being a social studies teacher in Texas, I cannot tell you how to meet the rigors of TEKS. And hopefully there's someone out there that will chime in and support me on this. But I did some digging, and we have several resources to support science and social studies, and that might spark the ideas that you would need to create a lesson that has the type of rigor that you need in order to meet those standards. So I've put in a book here by Monica Burns. It's 15 ideas for implementing book creator in your social studies classroom. It's read around 21,000 times. This has got 15 ideas from Monica Burns on ways that you can use this in a history classroom. So that's one. And then I included a link to a library, actually, by Katie Fielding. She put together a series. These are 5 books, and she's working on more. And these are STEM notebooks. So essentially anything in the realm of STEM. I know that's kind of a loose topic, but we have a science notebook that follows the scientific investigation process. And what Katie's done here is she's put together essentially a template that teachers can use to build for students. And so each one of these books has pages that the teacher can move around, duplicate, move out of place. I don't know why I can't view that whole page, but it's probably because I'm looking at a book instead of a book. But I highly recommend that you check those out. They're all remixable. Katie's, I'm putting together we launched a blog post already that has a breakdown from Katie exactly how to break those books down and use them in the different STEM related courses. So those were the 3 main questions. I saw one about printing, but I don't generally dedicate a lot of time to printing books because we like them to stay online. But there are several, if you just Google print book creator book, there's several walkthroughs online that our ambassadors have put together for the different nuanced ways that you might go about printing a book. We've seen a lot of really cool success with folks printing books, but we generally say, hey, maybe don't do that. How to transfer the information from one book to another book of a different size. So that is a fantastic question. Maggie asked this question. She's saying, if I'm, for example, I'm editing this book, one of the awesome things that you can do is you can beg, borrow, and steal pages from different books. So as an example, if I wanted to take this page and I wanted to copy it to another book, I could just pick that book from one of my libraries here. We'll send it over to one of the Canadian educator books. Now, the Canadian educator book is the same size layout as this book. And so when I click this button, it won't have any issues. But if I try to transfer it over into a book that has a different shape or size, let me see if I can find one. I don't often use the other shapes and sizes, Maggie, for this exact reason. But generally speaking, here's the deal. If you're going from a smaller size to a bigger size, you generally don't run into any issues. The problem is when you're going from a bigger size to a smaller size. You're going to see things get formatted a little funky. So the best way to steer clear of that, oftentimes what I do is I just stick to one book format size and leave it at that. But we know that things have to change around and things have to move around. So generally speaking, try and go from small to big. Okay, where were we? Combined pages. So same concept. Yep. There's just going to be a little bit of formatting involved associated with that. Yeah. Okay. We've heard enough from me, April. How about you take me through this book that we made just for Texas? Then
Yeah,
everyone
of
can
course.
hear your voice.
My lovely British accent. Hopefully, you can all bear it for a little bit longer. So this is our book creator in Texas book. Basically, the thinking here is that we wanted to create something that could signpost different things you might be looking for. We've also got a little bit about what's happening at state level because I appreciate that it must be easy to know what your teachers in your school are doing, but it's also great to know there's 1.7 million books in the whole state altogether as well. And as you'll see, it's just some links and some things that you might be interested in, like the hub. And then on the next page as well, our star testing books. So luckily, I'm sure everyone is in the same boat. It's mostly been and gone, luckily. But next year might be something you're interested in looking into using it for exam practice. And then also the link back to this book that Dave is going through now, as well as some other resources just after this too. So things like the new translation feature, how that looks in your account, and some other things. The new formative assessment book that Monica Burns just brought out, and
Oh
some
yeah.
other resources from around Texas.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, there is redundancy all over the place, folks, because we really want you to see these types of things that we're bringing together. So that's a fantastic book. There, some of those resources she showed in there, I brought into mine. So maybe I'll just call those out. And these are Texas specific resources. So this was sort of like a top 10. This was actually a really good webinar. I don't know if April or Jen, you saw this one, but essentially these top 10 tips on how New Caney is using Book Creator. And I see Carissa there smiling. Yes, thank you. This is a fantastic webinar. We got a lot of feedback on this. And so, yeah, do check that out. It's linked in both of those books. It's a really, really easy to digest too, because each of the tips is just very well put together and it's like obvious why we would do this. And so there's not a lot of guesswork when you're watching that one. Really enjoyed that. I want to make sure that anyone that has questions or wants to share something feels empowered to do that. And so if you're interested in sharing, please just pop your hand up and someone will stop me from talking. I actually want to put this in the chat now because I want people to have this. Maggie, go ahead, come off mute.
Okay, I don't know if I can share my screen because I tried on the other one presentation and I ended up couldn't share mine. I don't know what's wrong with my operation. But anyway, it's exciting time right now. I have one Spanish teacher asking students to design a Spanish song, poem and then want to combine into one, but at the same time they want to translate into English and then read them with translation with the emotional expression and understanding of this poem. So I use the Canva in combination of the designing and they are excited and I see a lot of great creation coming out of that. And then I have a English teacher. I also asked the student to make a book of poetry on their own, not combining. And also there's a lot of creativity and I teach them how to, do all different features and things like that. And then they just fly. Um, another class is a methodology. They are using the comic books feature to design to compare the two uh, gods or something in those methodology characters into the books, so it is very interesting. I'm showing them yesterday. Those are specifically for comics and then how to make use of Canva, those animations and things like that to convert it into that book, and it is exciting. Also, there is teacher last year has used it as the end of the school year reflection. Like every student design something, what is the most memorable moment for them from that class? And then the teacher have a little introduction and some of the things that they did together. So we combine into a book and still have students go back and read them and share with the parents. So
I
those are
love it.
exciting. Now
Yeah,
for
that's
me,
awesome.
besides I'm using it for actually monthly newsletter to for the teachers. I'm trying to make use of all the feature that I explore from the book creator to showcase to the teacher, hey, that's what you can do. That's how you can, integrate all those different things to accomplish your intended value. And that's why, they say, can you help me? So that's one of the things that you were talking about, how to get the teachers excited about the
Yeah,
program
yeah.
is to be example
Mm.
for them.
Maggie, I love that you said that because in one of the last meetings that we had, Stormy was saying, if you really want the kids to use it profoundly at the end of the lesson, use it during the process of the lesson. Like, do your lessons in it, right? Like, make it a resource library for the students so they can come back. And once they're like in the platform a lot, then they feel more comfortable in it. And then when you ask them to do something higher level, start from a blank resource or whatever, they're going to feel a whole lot more comfortable. And that's sort of the theme that we have with the Teach Your First Lesson books as well. Like, we give the first lesson is like an all about me book. Just talk about yourself. Everyone loves to talk about themselves, right? And it's a big part of identity and SEL and like, who am I? But it's also a very low risk activity to try out book writing. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, sorry. There's another book that you have introduced, like how each features where to push the button to do what, and then make them do it. I kind of remix it a little bit, and then assign it to each student as soon as they set up their account. So they learn it, and then they go through. So I go through two different ways. One is just let them do it on their own by going through that book, by learning the different feature. And then the other one is simply show them what is those features. And I think that going through that book helps them because that's where they have to follow the instruction and do it. And that seems to get a lot more student get hold of the skills. So
I love it. I love your ideas and I love your bravery. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing. And I think that's a great segue. Here's what we're going to do. I want to put you all into breakout rooms, small breakout rooms, so that you get a chance to actually come on the mic and chat with each other. Because I think the big point of this is to give people a chance to chat. Now, don't leave me, because there's stuff at the end. I still have some things that I want to share with you. I'm going to run a breakout. It's going to be short. It's just to chit chat. I'll run a poll while you're there to ask you a question, but just jump on, introduce yourself, maybe tell people how long you've been using Book Creator, your favorite thing about Book Creator, but it's very unstructured. I just want to give you all a chance to get together and chit chat. Now, if you're not into it, stay in the main room. That's okay. All right. But don't leave. Stay here, please. All right. I'm opening them up. 5 minutes. All right. Sweet. All right. Well, if you are still here, that means you're either not interested in a breakout, just fine, or you're watching the recording. So check this out. Since you're here watching the recording, I want to share with you something that I'm not sharing with the folks in the breakout just yet. So two things that are happening literally while I'm recording this. The first is that we are launching a blog post all about end of year activities. These are fun, short, easy to do activities with students that are immediately available to you. So I'm showing you the library of books that we've put together. But we're actually going to put together a little blog post that has some information on how you can use these very quickly and easily. And I actually just want to show you one, which is the May Activity Journal, which is absolutely amazing. I don't know if you've seen these, but these are like curriculum aligned, but like really fun activities that you can do. I included a link to this in the Texas book as well. But essentially what we do is we go through every single day of the month and look for those like kooky holidays that are like that are somehow related to the curriculums, right? And we build activities around them. And so we've got tons of activities throughout all of these that encourage the students to learn more, do some research. Sometimes they have to make hilarious videos or do a little writing assignment, right? But they are curriculum aligned, they're aligned with the school calendars, and we make one of these for every month of the year, and we make an activity for every single day. So sometimes if you're just short on something to do, or it's the end of the school year, you want to have some fun, pull this thing up, pull one of these out. I remember one month it was like National Poop Awareness Day or something, and like that was hilarious. We got National Leprechaun Day, Dance Like a Chicken Day. They're going to record themselves dancing. So Some of these are really fun and they're just a quick little activity to get the kids out of their seats. Some of these are a lot more intense and they talk a lot more about like International Day for Families and trying to think through what that means. So take a look. These are really fun. This is just one book in an entire library that we're putting together of just fun afters at the end of the school year activities. All right. Another just about to launch resource is our summer literacy book, right? And so this book is all about, you know what? This book is used to support summer literacy programs, right? And so this book was put together by us at Book Creator. We wanted to create a really easy to use template that would allow you to plug and play like 8 books and then have some fun reading response activities for the students to do. So we've put together a little teacher guide, some example books that you can look through where we've built them out so you can see what the intention was. And then we've left you some videos and checklists on how to prepare your libraries for the summer, prepare your summer reading. Even wrote you a little letter you can send home to families. And then we've left in some really fun pages for the students to take a look at where you can give them books to choose from, give them a log, and then there's just fun activities, right, for them to do, which, you know, make your own book cover, record audio snippets, that sort of thing. Super fun. All right, looks like folks are trickling back in. Thank you so much for just taking a moment to just introduce yourself to other people. I know it can be a little funky with the breakouts and I don't like coming off my camera and I didn't brush my hair today or whatever, but you're all beautiful humans. I'm so happy that you had a chance to maybe chat. If no one was in your room, I'm so sorry. I hope you came back here and you didn't leave. While you were away, I recorded or shared something with the people who are probably watching this recording. And so, yeah, so if you want to check out the little snippet that I recorded for them, go back and rewatch that recording. You also notice that while you are away, I launched a poll. And some of you saw it while you're in your breakout, some of you didn't, but if you have a chance, would love to hear your thoughts on that. Was kind of hoping some of those might spark conversations while you were in your little chat. But do you not see the poll when you're in a breakout? That was a poor way of wording that.
I saw the poll when I came back from the breakout.
No. Ah, stinks. I wanted you to be able to see the poll while you're in the breakout because then I could like give you a question. All right, well, that's a bummer. Well, that stinks. Anyway, I would love for you to answer the poll. I wish it would have shown up when you're on your breakout. Okay, let's see. So you've had a chance to talk to each other. I like that. I went through some of these resources. I want to make sure that I didn't miss any. Yeah, translations, duh. Okay, I want to show you this. This is incredible. This is a feature that we just launched. It's probably one of the biggest features that we've ever launched. But essentially what we've done is we've built in like Google's cloud translation services. We've just built them into the premium version of the app. So now what you'll see if you're on premium, you right click on like a text box, you can hit translate and you can choose a language and just hit translate and it does it for you just like that, which is incredible. And then if you are actually inside the text editor, you can use the translate feature here as well and just translate maybe like one line of text and then hit done. We also have the ability to translate audio hotspots. So if you record your voice or you're doing instructions or you're just recording a sample audio clip to use during the call, you use your recording totally normal, like you normally would. You get your little recording here. You generate your transcript. You should always generate transcript. We know from UDL, you got to make things accessible to folks. Once that transcript is done, obviously give it a check that you can do. And then you'll notice now that you have this, you can click on it again and hit translate. And this is what's really cool. You pick the language and you pick the voice that you want it to be in, and then you hit translate and it creates a second copy and puts even a little symbol on it right here that kind of lets you know, hey, this is translation. And then when students click on it, they can hear whatever it is that you recorded in the translated voice of the new language. So pretty fun stuff with translations. But we didn't stop there. We decided to just go all out. And so this is a resource that I want to show you. It's a brand new resource. It's a newcomer edition of All About Me journal. So our thinking with this was that you would be able to send this to a newcomer on their way to the school, so that you'd be able to get to know some stuff about them, or maybe an activity that they're doing in the first few days of school, so you can get to know stuff about them. But we thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if you could send it to them in their own language, right? So we build in this feature where if you're in the library view, if you're in tile like I like, you click the three dots. But I noticed a lot of people's screens, they really like this view. So if you're in this view, you click on the little book button, but essentially you get to translate the book. And then from there, you're just going to choose whatever language it is that you want to translate into. And you're not going to believe it. It creates a whole second copy of the book, puts it right in the library, and it is completely translated. All the text, all of the audio snippets that have transcripts attached to them, all done. So my internet's running a little bit slow, but in a second, you'll see this guy pop up, but it will be in Spanish. And when you click in, everything will be in Spanish. Now, because some languages use, more words to say less, sometimes you've got to go in and do a little bit of adjusting. Here, great example, right? That in Spanish is just too long. So you click on it and you can just kind of do a little bit of text formatting to make it fit. And then bang, you're done. And so, yeah, jump through the pages, make sure that, bienvenidos isn't demasiado grande or whatever. And then you kind of fuss and play. You can move pages around. But yeah, translate an entire book. We're really excited about that. And it really has had a huge impact in classrooms already that we've seen. We ran a beta with it, and we're super excited about that. So if you're interested in learning more, I've actually linked to the blog post where we talk about that. That has a support article if you're interested in like who gets access to this, when do we get access to it. And we made this really fun video too. So do check that out. Okay, I'm loving this. We've covered a ton of resources for you to have. We've shown you some Texas-based stuff. Texas educator made amazing things. If you take one thing away from this, it's go watch that New Candy webinar replay, because it has 10 fantastic ideas for you to use. If you're like, hey, why don't I see the translate button? It's because you're not yet on the premium. This button right there on this page should take you to a form to let you upgrade to premium. We want you to try that feature. In fact, we want you on premium, to be honest. We want the whole world. I wish it had book creator account. But fill that out. If that thing doesn't work or you need more time or whatever, just email me. Teachers are amazing. We just want you to have everything that you possibly need. You have a link to this book. There is one final ask that I have of you. Pretty please. I'm going to run just one more poll, and it's a feedback survey. So you won't hear from me regarding feedback survey after this, because this is it right here. And while I do that, I want to let you know that tomorrow I'm going to send you out a recording of this so that you can rewatch it. You can send it off to folks in your district who might benefit from a quick 30-minute can't upgrade. Okay, thank you, Maggie. I am going to replace that link. Don't click the upgrade button just yet. We'll replace that with a new link and you'll get upgraded for sure. So tomorrow I will send out a follow-up email with a recording for this, more information and links and everything that folks shared. And if any questions came through in the chat that I didn't see, I'll answer those there as well. And now is a fantastic time as well. If you have any questions, you can throw those in the chat or you can come off mic. Would love to field those for you. And there's no bad question. So as folks are, thank you so much for filling out my feedback survey and all of my polls. I know I'm just pestering you with things and saying, hey, can you answer my questions? But here, this is great. You're asking me a question now. So what do ambassadors do? What do ambassadors do? So ambassadors are amazing educators in their own right, in their school, community, wherever they are, that are using Book Creator really sort of at that like edge case use, right? These ambassadors are usually the folks that are pestering us for upgrades or different feature tweaks and things that they want to change around because they used it like all the way to the edge of its capacity, right? So if you're someone who's constantly talking about Book Creator to other people in your district, where you're like, you have to use this, you have to try it, and you're like trying to get folks to use it because you really love it and you're seeing this grow, you're probably an ambassador, right? Now, to become an ambassador, you apply, we accept you, you do a little book, and then you sort of get perks and features. So like, for example, if you're going to a nearby conference and you get accepted to present, we can help you get there. Or if you're going to be at one of these big conferences like TCA, we're going to give you a shirt. We're going to ask you to come to the booth. We've got swag. So if you're running a local event and you're in the community, you can be anyone in the community. If you're running a local event and you want swag for that event, hit us up, right? Join the community and you'll start to see all these little perks. So I put this book in here all about why you might join the community, but in it we kind of break down why you might join. And here's just a quick list. But ambassadors are folks that are just really energized about talking about Book Creator with others and want our support in doing that. So we invite you to train the trainers and all that kind of stuff. You do not need premium to be an ambassador, but you get premium when you become an ambassador. We just click a little button and you get, yeah, there you go. Thanks, April. You do get upgraded. So Jamie, this is one of the things that's on our list. So right now, unless I make the book remixable, you can't add it to your library. You just have to bookmark it like it's a website. I wish that you could add it just to your libraries and then you'd be able to see it. Maybe it would be helpful if I shared the library code with you all so that the Texas Educator Library shows up. Yeah. And then it will always be one of your libraries and then I can add books and things like that. Okay. Yeah. Well, look at that. Monitor and adjust. I'm Flexi Rexy over here. Let me just turn collaboration off for my book.
Can you assign to us though?
Stop collaborating. There we go. Okay. Invite code. I'll leave the code on the screen and I'll put the link in the chat. This will just add you to my library, right? And so you'll be teachers in the library. I will adjust the settings. That's the way nobody starts to edit my book or whatever, but you'll have a copy of it. You won't have to bookmark it. Check. What other problems can I solve? Oh, this is a great example. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and just say that you guys can't do any funny business. Yeah, I'm just going to turn, you guys aren't going to be able to do anything. And that's just so that I can keep control over that thing and make sure that it doesn't go wild, because I run these ambassador meetings and folks show up and they just start copying books into there. It's nuts. Okay, you're in the library. I think I've answered all your questions. A ton of you have answered my polls. Besitos para todos. I love you so much. What else? What else? What's the code again? Got it. Let me put it up. What else can I do for you today? Because you've done everything that I need from you today. So you've answered my polls. You've been lovely. I look at these beautiful smiling faces on the other side. Maggie, you got your hand up. Go for it.
I'm sorry, I'm the one that keep asking questions and sharing. So in order to be the ambassador, what should I say to my admin regarding, will this affecting my performance at school? Or,
Awesome
I
question.
remember the form that you asked me, there was a policy and I asked it last time, but how should I say, like the elevator pitch, how should I say it with my admin?
Okay, so Maggie's talking about an ethics clause that we include before we even let you apply, because we don't want anybody getting in any hot water because it looks like they're doing something special for us. So the best thing to do is be completely transparent, just like we are. We're not hiding anything that we're going to give you or show you or tell you. It's all out in the open, right? And so the best thing to do is go to your administrator and say, hey, I'm thinking about applying to be a Book Creator ambassador. They're going to send me a shirt. They're going to upgrade me to premium on Book Creator if need be, and they're going to send me opportunities for ways for my own professional development. If that's not okay with you, or if you think that's a conflict of interest, let's have a conversation. Now, I'm going to say like 99.9% of administrators who have heard that, they're like, run with it, go with it. In the application, there's even like a little step-by-step, like if you're going to have this conversation, here are some things you can consider within that form. I wrote up like a little, here are some do's and don'ts, so you can throw that in there. But we're always asking our ambassadors to disclose that they are an ambassador. Never hide the fact that you're an ambassador. So put it in your Twitter profile and put it out there so that it's obvious, so that everybody knows that, hey, I signed up for this. I'm willingly telling folks, but I'd love to get a t-shirt and get some swag and that kind of stuff. So
Thank you.
yeah. Oh, Jamie, that is wonderful news. Well, folks, you have been an absolute pleasure to have in class. I'm kidding. A pleasure to have here with me. It's been wonderful. I'm going to stop the poll, stop pestering you. I'll continue to answer questions until my voice goes out. Sandra, I know the link isn't working. What I'm going to do for everyone who wants that upgrade, don't you worry. Tomorrow in my follow-up email, I will put a coupon code for anyone on the free plan. We'll just upgrade you for the rest of the school year, which I think for folks in Texas is like 20 more minutes. And then I'll make it long enough so you get some in September or whatever you come back to. All right. So don't worry if you were looking for that premium upgrade. My mistake on the link. That was totally my bad. I will get on it. If there are no further questions, and yeah, thank you all so much for coming. It is an absolute pleasure and honor to have you in our community, or to welcome you into our community if you're thinking about coming in and joining in as a collaborator. It's super easy. But either way, it was a pleasure having you, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye, Holly. Bye, Carissa. Who else? Hi, bye, Michelle. Bye, Andrew. All right. Michelle, are you still there?
She's hanging out for the long run.
No,
Michelle?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I was like,
No, I'm here. Hey, Jennifer, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. Just juggling a lot of stuff going on with our flooding and crazy stuff going on over here.
Oh no.
It's just been crazy insane. But this was great. I'm going to go look at that shared album. I was kind of multitasking while I was listening to